Hey, good evening. Welcome. Good Friday evening to you. How is everybody doing? I am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver. It's good to see you all. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful Friday evening. Thanks for coming over to hang around. This is just a little thing we do 5 nights a week. We kick back, we relax, we talk about stuff. But a couple of nights a week, we play a little bit of tabletop role playing. That's right. And tonight, folks, 9:30, we will be jumping straight into Gamma World. I hope you guys are excited about that. We'll get into it. Hello, Damien, Praxis, Luther, Ricky. How are you? How are you? Good to see you all. But anyway, also tonight, before we get into that, I just want to say I had an absolute blast. If you did not catch last night's talk we had with Sky Hernstrom, check it out. Definitely after tonight's stream, check out last night's. Sky was here. He's a gifted author, D&D enthusiast, very cool guy. So it was a lot of fun to have him on the show. He definitely will be back in the future. He dug it quite a bit. And Sky, thank you very much for being on the show. Now, as for next week, next Thursday, TSR alum Steve Marsh will be in the house. That's right, Steve Marsh on the show. I'm pretty excited about that. I hope you guys are too. And then the week after that, we're going to have John Popson from Effing Cool Minis in the studio. He's going to show us all the cool stuff that they've got going on over there at Effing Cool. And I hope you guys are stoked about that. I know I am. And then we got all the cool things in between. We've got D&D games. We've got Gamma World games. Kyle will be back in the house. I don't know if Kyle's going to join us for AD&D Play on Tuesday night, if that's going to be his co-host segment or what. But either way, I love it. I love it. And I hope you guys love it too. And of course, in between all of that fun, you've got me and role-playing game talk, right? Very cool. But anyway, so that's all what's in the pipeline and coming at you. And of course, weekend of the 19th. Actually, it'd probably be better to say the weekend of the 20th, because the 19th is really a Thursday. You can't call that a weekend, right? We're going to. But anyway, that weekend, the weekend that's closest to that going forward, is the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. And guys, you want to register for that. If you're not signed up for it, if you haven't decided to run a game, if you haven't decided to play in games yet, go get yourself signed up. I put the link in the chat. It's right there. But yeah, check it out. Just a little something. Just me giving back to you guys, because you guys gave to me and you got me over 1,000 subs on this channel. Which, for those of you keeping score, I think we're at 1,060 now. 1060. A 1060. Classic gaming card. Speaking of gaming, I did want to mention this because, we talk about a lot of stuff here on the channel. If you're into PC gaming, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. At least on the middle end for graphics cards, they have now hit pre-Andromeda Strain prices again. Almost. I still feel that the GeForce GTX 1650 Super should be like $150, $160 card at most. The 1060 and 1050 card should be around the $130 mark, and like a 1030 should be It's like literally like a $40 card. I think the 1650 is probably about $50 overpriced, but the 1060 and 1050 cards are probably about $60 or $70 overpriced, and the 1030 cards are like $100 overpriced still. So we're looking to see those go down. Hello, Mark. Happy Friday to you too. That's Mark Corey. Mark is in my Monday night AD&D game. So if you're looking now to get into PC gaming, or you've been sitting around waiting on an upgrade, I think, what was it? A 3050 will set you back like $329 now. 329, 349, something like that, which is a fairly reasonable price when you think that like 8-9 months ago, a 3050 was north of $900, which is completely nuts. So video card prices are dropping, and that's probably the only good economical news out there. And man, if the other economical news in the world doesn't start getting better, this may be your one chance to get a cheap video card for a long time yet. So that was kind of interesting, I thought. Now, speaking of interesting and gaming, we're not going to do too deep of a dive into D3 Vault of the Drow yet. I want to give my full attention to those in a longer period of time than we've got. We just got like 45 minutes before Gamma World starts. And I don't want to tear too much into it, but I do want to kind of give just like a general overview of them, just sort of a quick glance, if you will, at them. And I will do something that I don't normally do with this kind of digging in. But I will point this out, that, of course, D1 and D2 were combined into a single volume for later prints and got a 4-color cover. They also had some content changes. D3 got the same treatment. D3 came out as a pastel module, or a pastel cover on the module. And then they released a 4-color cover. I happen to think, contents aside, the Errol Otis's color cover, color front piece on the module, is some of the finer art available in AD&D. And we'll take a look at that a little bit more. And yes, I have an autograph by Errol on the cover there. I'm quite fond of that. And on the inside piece, little Eclavdra looking angry. I don't think it's showing up very, very good. It's down right there. But so far of the Giants Drow series of modules, D3 is the meatiest of them. Now here's the pastel one, and I'll have this up on screen when we really get into this. It's got that kind of pink and purple look going. That's a Dave Sutherland cover, and then we have a Trampier piece on the back of it. But this one, and by the way, it still includes underground geomorphs. You can still explore around places. So all totaled, including, the front page, because they count that as a page. All totaled, this module clocks in at 25 pages. There are some map pages. We have a remuneration of the Kutoans, the Svirfneblin. We have 2 new types of demons, the Mesodemon and the Nycademon. We have stats for Loth. That's right. The demon queen of the spiders can be encountered here. And we have some illustration through this. And almost kind of like a block print stylized image of Loth there. That's Dave Trampier's work. But not a great deal of illustration. Here's another Dave Trampier piece. This is kind of what you see when you're approaching the city. And again, when we really do a deep dive on this, I'll give you guys a better look at those illos. But the Vault of the Drow is, for the most part, once you get past the cover page, it is practically 25 solid pages of information. I mean, it is densely packed, and it does not say, okay, we're going to go over the charts again for getting there. No, the Vault of the Drow really, really does bring it home what the city of Eri Sinlu is like. We don't, unfortunately, we don't get a great city map with it, which I personally think it could really use. We get an area map, which I'll show you guys that real quick. Again, we'll look at the PDF and get a better view. So we get an area map, and once again, we get our underworld map over here, and then here's our area around the city here. So if you like doing your own city cartography, you're going to have a lot of fun with D3. And as tough as D1 and D2 have been, not just from a player standpoint, but as exhaustive the amount of work you've had to do as a DM in them, you've still got a good chunk of work to do in here. But fortunately, with the exception of random encounters, which again, DMs, flesh out your random encounters so that when the random encounters happen, you've got stuff to move out onto the table immediately, because there's so much, there are so many little things that you can bump into. Just, oh, well, there's, I bumped into a couple of type 4 demons while walking down the street. You kind of want to have those statted out. You kind of want to have their hit points figured out, maybe kind of think about how they're presenting. Are they just walking around in full demonic form? Are they polymorphed? Have they polymorphed themselves into drow form, and so on and etc. Now, one thing I want to mention, it is interesting that this is the chosen color scheme for the cover of the original D3, because nowadays, of course, we know current edition D&D seems to have been dragged to a struggle session. And Drow are no longer evil. And we have to look past the past. We have to look beyond the past. And we can be in a more enlightened state of mind. This is now an enlightened age when we can not think of the Drow as evil. Right? Yeah, Maximus, exactly. Here's an interesting factoid, though, that I'm going to share with some of you who might not know this. All of that already existed. Drow that aren't evil, that can be helpful, that want to be good, or at the very least, not murder and worse everything they see. They already exist. 42 years ago, they were published in D&D. The base assumption that all Drow have to be evil wasn't a thing. Once we dig in a little more into this module, you guys will see that. But this is what, I mean, if you're one of those people who's like, good Drow are terrible, and they've ruined D&D with introducing good Drow, and blah, 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 then they were ruined from the outset, guys, because they're in here. They're in this module. Okay. Now, with that said, they're used very economically. The vast majority of the Drow are evil. But there is, for lack of a better term, a much older precedent. So the people breaking their own arms, patting themselves on the back for being enlightened and fixing all those bad old tropes. Yeah, you're 42 years too late to the party. Because we're going to see when we really dig into the contents of Vault of the Drow that, yes, indeed, there are good ones. And one thing that I find kind of funny is that they're outlaws in their own country. How do they refer to them? Let's go to the encounter chart. 7 to 12 rakes. That's rake, by the way, R-A-K-E, rake. Well, Luther, that's not correct, but anyway. They are described, let's see. I don't want to... I don't want to get dragged down too much in this, but... because I want to give it its full due. But essentially, there are groups of Gary says, they're good, or well, rather, they are not wholly evil, and indeed some might be good, who see no good in their society, and they're considered outcasts. Now, as you flesh out D3 from a DMing standpoint, you may want to build that up. Are they rebels trying to bring down society from the inside? Or are they just trying to keep their heads down because they know this is all way too powerful for them, and they'll only help the party if the party promises to not draw attention to them? But they are in there. It even describes half Drow, which is an interesting approach. So Gary had some very interesting ideas about the Drow that did not. First of all, it was not all in Unearthed Arcana, and second of all, it was not all Drow are evil. Wasn't Washington D.C. the inspiration for Ari Sinlow? Not going to touch that one, but it sounds like it could have been. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in D3, and we're going to get there and really start digging through it. Although I do want to, let me see if I have. See if I can find this real quick. Just checking to see if I have a PD. I have all my AD&D library here on the studio PC, but I can honestly not remember if I bought myself this on PDF. So I'm just kind of searching through. Come on. Oops. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, definitely. Yep. You have the rakes, let's see, willing to help the party out. So that's going to be a fun dive into D3, because I think, aside from not having a city map, which nowadays with all the tools at your disposal, like you can literally go online and search for city map generator, and there, I think on Drive Through RPG, You know what? Let me look. Well, I could probably find it faster. Go to D&D Classics. I could have sworn that somebody had the Dungeon Geomorphs Walled Cities for sale in PDF form, but I could be wrong about that. But I don't know. But the point is, you can find city maps and build Eri Sinlu yourself. I've seen a few people's out there. I've seen some that are very Euclidean, if you will. I've seen some that somebody took like the French curve, if you remember, like you'd get a protractor when you were a kid, and it would have that French curve on there. They obviously drew that, used that to draw the streets and stuff. So I've seen a lot of cool interpretations of it. But ultimately, what it looks like, that's going to be up to you, the DM. So we'll take a serious dive into that. And then after that, we're going to go over and we're going to start looking at Q1, which is going to be really interesting. Now, I really wish we could have gotten Gary's conclusion to the Giants and Drow series, because it wasn't ultimately what we got. But I think Q1 definitely has merits, and it's definitely a quote unquote doable adventure in that respect. But we'll get there when we get there. I mean, it is one of the few adventure modules that will put your party on a completely different plane. The only other one I can think of is OP1, Tales of the Outer Planes. Although I guess ultimately that kind of depends on what you mean by another plane. I mean, what is it? EX1 and EX2 technically take place in a demi-plane, I think. And then, of course, Isle of the Ape is on a demi-plane that can only be reached through a door in the ultimate bottom of Castle Greyhawk. Khalid says, I like Q1 except for the map. That's interesting. Which map do you mean? Do you mean the area around Loth's spider ship, the spider ship itself, or the demon web itself, aka the bathroom mat? Yeah, I don't like the intrusion of the furry and scale and stuff like that. The actual demon web pits map, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to hold off until I actually run it to decide whether or not I hate it or love it. So, because, you know, like most great adventure modules, well, all great adventure modules, it is a framework over which you put your own imagination and your own touches. Hail, Lord Corion, good to see you. So we'll get there when we get there. And then We may take a break from D&D and look at some other RPG materials, because guys, I've got like under my desk here, literally at my feet, I have a couple of boxes of RPG material. I've got my bookcase over there. Of course, I've got my AD&D shelf, but I've also got other things. So we have lots of great content. Lots of great content. So fear not. Fear not. But anyway. So I saw something today and I commented about this. This kind of stuck in my craw, and I wasn't. It really, really irritated me. What had happened? Let me see if I can find this. You guys remember, of course, when this has been a number of months ago. Gabber Lux, he posts on forums as Milan. He reported on a situation, and this is not something I was aware of, but this is just kind of a damn shame. This just drives me up the wall. It's RPG news, and I think it merits mentioning. And as I've said, and let me be clear, you play whatever you like, and you play it the way you like. However, I can and will rail against Wizards of the Coast when they do stupid stuff. And this is pretty terrible. So this is straight from a forum post that Gabber made. So this is not my own words. This is not my own take on it. But I found this to be extremely frustrating. He writes, "This is a kind of long and convoluted story, but is a good time to place and share it. The video below, and I don't have the link to the video to hand, but if you guys are interested, I will share it in the Discord. Provides a good summary of how Wizards of the Coast screwed the small publisher responsible for D&D 5e's Hungarian translation, and in turn, our small but enthusiastic D&D fandom." He continues, "In short, Tuan Publishing, a local publisher of fantasy novels and games, obtained a license to publish 5e in a local translation. As other overseas properties, the deal was made through Gale Force 9, a large international game company. Tuan, much unlike previous license holders, did a jolly good job on their translation. They put out a well-received starter set and completed a translation of the core books that was not only up to license standards, but assisted and advised by a body recruited from the Hungarian D&D fans as well. But the books, despite being textually approved, pre-ordered by numerous fans, and ready to print, never came out. See, WotC and Gale Force 9 had an argument over the profits from these overseas distribution deals and basically blackmailed each other by holding the licenses hostage and refusing to approve them for printing. Perhaps this sort of lawfare is chump change for major international players, but it really is not chump change for a small outfit like Tuan. Still, they kept a good faith approach and waited, along with the enthusiastic fans. What happened, though, was treachery. GF9 and WotC reached a settlement, but from this point on, simply stonewalled all communications with Tuan Publishing. Wizards of the Coast assumed responsibility for publishing D&D in 4 major languages, German, Italian, Spanish, and French, while not even deigning to send an official communication to the Hungarian licensee. And so it continues with everything left hanging. The translation, created with much care and effort, is hanging in legal limbo due to a petty squabble between warring publishing giants. They would literally rather spit in each other's eyes than try and pick the money up off the table. It is, to quote the man, mind-boggling. All the work is done. It's in the can, as they say. All Wizards has to do is find an equitable profit split with GF9, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe the equitable part is the problem. And release this. But if 5e is your jam, and it's fine if it is, if 5e is your jam and you're in Hungary, well, I hope your English is up to snuff. Or you're German, you're Italian, you're Spanish, you're French, because you're not getting it published locally, not anytime soon. Sorry, game fans, but, we'd rather fight with these guys in court over Byzantinian laws and Gibbs me dats than bring you something you care about. It's a little similar to that, Khalid. You're not too far off the mark there. And I mean, to be sure, this could be Gale Force 9 too. WotC could be sitting there and legally bound to not say, hey, we want to release this, but Gale Force 9 is holding it up. Because honestly, we just want it published, and we want people to be able to enjoy this, and we'll sort out who's owed what as things go, but can we please release this? And it could very well be Gale Force 9 saying, no, absolutely not. You're not going to do that. So I lay this at the feet of WotC, but honestly, it could just as easily be GF9. Now, Hasbro is exponentially bigger than Gale Force 9. But GF9, little guys with big crowbars can stop a tank from moving forward. Just jam it in the treads. It could very easily be GF9's lawyers stepping up and jamming something in the treads. Let me relate a little something to you. Back in the early 90s, I was a big fan. My first computer was a VIC-20. My second computer was a Commodore 64. My third computer was a Commodore 128. My fourth computer was a Commodore Amiga 500. My fifth computer was a Commodore Amiga 1200. And by that time, by 1992-93, Commodore was going bust. I mean, they had pinned down the personal computer, the home computer market at that time under their thumb. Sorry, Apple fans, Atari fans. No, you guys had nothing that could touch Commodore's penetration into the home computer market. But by 1993, this titanic company was on the verge of going bust. They released a game console, which you've never heard of, called the CD32, which was actually fairly well received. It was a 32-bit console. It's really closer to more like a 24-bit console, but I'm not gonna argue semantics now, almost 35 years after the fact. But just sales predictions, not even from Commodore. Third-party sales predictions said they could move probably 500,000 to 800,000 units if it hit in North America at the right time. Commodore's last desktop machines had outsourced chips made by Hewlett-Packard. They owed Hewlett-Packard something like $600,000 for making some of their VSLI chips, or VLSI chips, rather. They didn't want to pay them. They didn't want to pay Hewlett-Packard. So the chips that were required to go into the CD32, which were also made by Hewlett-Packard, Hewlett-Packard just folded their hands and said, then we're not going to give you the silicon. Commodore had managed to produce enough to at least get the market rolling. But because Commodore management were being bitches to Hewlett-Packard, which, I mean, HP was a huge company. They are a huge company, much bigger than Commodore at that point. But they had managed to produce from existing stocks many tens of thousands of CD32s. But Hewlett-Packard sued them in the United States. The United States video game market is pretty much where you lived or died back then. May still be. I don't do consoles anymore, so I don't know. If your console didn't sell big in the US, it didn't matter how big it was in the UK or Canada or anywhere else. Well, the UK and Canada are the only places they could get going. If you knew a Commodore dealer at that point, by the mid-early 1990s, they could kind of gray market special order you some in from Canada by cutting a deal with Commodore dealers up there. But by then you were paying about as much for the CD32 as you would for a Sega or something like that, if not more. Commodore's management was stocked with corporate raiders. They rode Commodore into the ground, sucking every bit of money out of it. They moved the corporate headquarters to the Bahamas so people who had 50 shares, 100 shares, whatever, couldn't go to the meetings, couldn't go to shareholder meetings and try and vote these vampires out of power. And so they drove Commodore into the ground, then busted up the company and sold off the intellectual property and walked away from it forever. Rich, filthy rich, despite the fact that the company had sunk without a trace. But it was over peanuts, even back then, for something that could have been a massive hit in the gaming world. And imagine where we'd be now. Instead of NVIDIA, if it was, you know, oh, your GPU is made by Commodore, awesome. And I look at situations like this, Gale Force 9 and Wizards of the Coast. Now, unfortunately, this won't hurt Wizards of the Coast in the long run, not enough to make them change their behaviors. And it's like Apple throwing a tantrum over some windowing paradigm that they claim to invent. That it was like The positioning, the way a cursor was positioned by a mouse, it was XOR. The XOR patent lawsuit. Apple sued everyone who made a GUI, but they would settle out of court for a certain amount of your profits. And a lot of companies just looked at it and decided it was worth it to pay them to keep functioning. And some smaller companies just dug their heels in and said, we're never paying that. Commodore amongst them. But Apple basically set out to patent troll as many people as possible because they could. And I hate stuff like that. That's not how the law is supposed to work. And WotC is screwing a large number of gamers, or Gale Force 9 is screwing a large number of gamers. Now, I don't recommend this as a legal status at all, or as a legal tactic at all, rather. But wouldn't it be a shame? Wouldn't it be a crying shame if somebody were to leak those translations? I'd love to see that, to be quite honest with you. I would love to see that. Because honestly, watching Wizards of the Coast and Gale Force 9 freak out while any money they might have made slips out of their hands would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. So good luck to you, gamers in Hungary. I only know how to say good luck in French and Polish, so I can't say it in Hungarian. You know what? Let's see here. We'll go. Hey, Dungeon Minister. I like that. Okay, I'm about to murder this. I apologize. Sok Szerencet to Hungarian gamers. Sok Szerencet. Good luck to you guys. Regardless of what edition you're playing, you just want to get your damn game on. And it sucks that you're getting dragged. It really and truly does. So we're just about ready to get going on Gamma World. Now we're a little light on our cast tonight. I feel stupid if I forgot to. Yep, I messaged as many people that are supposed to be in the game as I could. Hello, Eloise, the viewer. Good to see you. But anyway, before we get going playing Gamma World, I want to take a minute here and say thank you to some people who are awesome. They know why. So thank you to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck, William Smith, The Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob Can't Say That'll Get Demonetized, Jeremy Rule, Boganora, Mikey Mank, and Sky Hernstrom. That's right. Sky was on last night. Hernstrom. Thank you guys. That is awesome. Everything helps. Every subscription helps. And hey, don't think for a minute that just because we've hit 1,000 subs, keep getting the word out there. Like I said, if I ever hit 10,000 subs, we'll do a real convention. So thank you to those people. Very, very, very much. Now let's see. What is happening with Hungary, Dungeon Minister, is that the company Gale Force 9 and Wizards of the Coast are having a lover spat, and they basically have gone incommunicado on the expert, well-crafted fan translations of the 5e core rule books for the Hungarian gaming market. And they won't talk to the gaming groups and the small gaming company that has done the translations, so they can't be released. So those people are in limbo. But let me don my headphones. And by the way, but just before we get into game mode, I know I'd asked my players about this, and I'd asked you guys about this, about the possibility of doing miniatures and stuff. Most people had said they'd like to see it, or they were indifferent to it. One person said, please, no, don't do that. Obviously, I don't have any Gamma World miniatures out here. We'll see. We'll see how that progresses. Anything that I put out there will be like 3D printed, so it'll take some time regardless. I know Grenadier put out some Gamma World miniatures back in the day. I'm not going to track those down. And as far as sci-fi minis, I either have a few that are kind of usable, or again, I can 3D print stuff up. But if I decide to go that route, it'll be a little bit. So now, without further ado, putting on the headphones of Dungeon Mastering, let us welcome James and Kevin. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
So we're a little short players, so we might, as Star Wars action figures, Dungeon Minister says, so we might run a little bit short on time tonight. Because you don't want to blow a game out and everybody, the players come back next week and I'm like, okay, so when we last left, the party had just entered the Matrix and time traveled the Earth back to before the war. And like, what did we miss last week? So, we'll try not to leave them in the dust. Too bad. So let me see here. That's good. That's good. So at any rate, when last we left the group, you had found, and Gerg was able to figure out how to pilot a pretty good condition vehicle of the Ancients that is actually capable of doing some pretty extraordinary things. So, adventurers, what do you wish to do with your newfound toy?
I believe the plan was to go and start transporting people from the village to the new locale.
Okay. All right. Well, at a maximum speed of 10 times the speed of sound, yeah, you can get there in about 45 minutes. It's not, you can firewall that throttle and hey, there's Rex Dashington.
Hey.
Let's add him to the mix. Hello, Yang. How are you, my friend? You're muted.
He's muted.
I am excellent. Thank you for asking.
We need mutants, not muteds. All right. So the adventuring party is taking the bubble car back to Outpost 76 to bring as many villagers to your new locations, because once again, Goodwater is a well-ordered farming community, and your you have the caverns of the ancients. People are in awe of this thing. I mean, there's the sonic boom that they hear when you come ripping over at like Mach 7 or something like that. Let me see here. Yeah, things stay more or less in order. You get a couple of caution lights, but Gerg, you figured this thing out. You can override a couple of things and shunt a couple of coolant lines and so on and et cetera, and get down in good order. Now, with a bubble car, let us see. The bubble car. Just want to look at this here.
I always got the impression the bubble car was like the Jetsons cars.
Could be, definitely could be. I wouldn't put it past Jim to have taken a note from that, but you are. We'll round up and call it an hour to get there and an hour to get back. Up to 3 metric tons of cargo, or 20 people. You can spend the better part of a day moving everyone who wants to leave Outpost 76. But I should point out that by the end of your laps, hour there, hour back, that's 2 hours. You need, just for the people, you're going to need 4 or 5 trips, and that's going to completely drain it. So to get food and other items, you're going to have to let the car charge for 3 days.
Okay.
But it will
go bad by then.
I'm sorry, what?
The milk may go bad by then.
I can't tell if it's bad or good even when it's good.
Isn't that giving you an upset stomach? I have no idea.
It was upset before I drank it. Yeah.
Vomit's coming out of my mouth. That was probably bad. Okay. So, in the time that it's going to take to fully recharge, one of the monitors at the new base after you get, people are getting acclimated and so on. And, of course, all of the children want to go, they want to ride in the great flying air bubble and so on and et cetera. But one of the monitors at the base comes to you three, you group of adventurers, and says, I'm glad you're back. We're moving these people into the racks. That is the sleeping area of the ancient. There's a big sign, RACKS. So, racks is apparently what they used to call it. But part of the sign has fallen down. What preceded it, you don't know. But he says, we may need your help with something. If you could come with me to operations.
Follow along.
All right. And this fellow, his name is Mesh, M-E-S-H. Mesh is a former knight of genetic purity who had an apotheosis, an enlightenment, if you will, when the X70 mutagen was released in the base. So he's trustworthy. But he comes along and he shows you a console and he says, you see these red bars on this graph here? And he points to a screen, and sure enough, there's some red bars. And he said, well, at the very worst, they should be yellow and much taller. But at the best, we want them to be green and tall all the way across, not kind of up and down like this. And this pertains to something called a magnetic thermal shunt. He carefully pushes a couple of buttons. You can tell he's doing this from memory, not from expertise, as he's pushing a couple of buttons that are making this change. And he says, you see, we've seen, and just as he's saying that, the lights dim, like the constant hum of ancient machinery and the faint breeze coming from the air circulation system and all, just kind of for a second, then it comes back up, and everybody in ops is kind of looking around. It started doing that this morning when you began your journeys to and from Outpost 76, and they've only gotten more frequent. So when I tried to get more information, the machine spirit informed me that the magnetic shunt had to be deplanated. And what else was it? It was critical. That's right. It was critical. You seem to have a better handle on technology than many of us. I think, and he presses another couple of buttons. Let's see, just see if we can.
Gerg's watching very attentively here.
Okay. It takes him a couple of tries, but he's able to get the screen to show, as far as you can tell with his explanations, a map of where you are on one of the screens. It says, this is us here in ops. And if I click this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and these different maps flicker, somewhere deep underneath us is the place where this needs to be done. Look, the most high-tech thing that I worked with before we were led here was an ancient slug thrower rifle and a spear. I mean, I could change the filters on my gas mask, but other than that, I'm just kind of guessing here, and the lights dim, and come back on again. If we're going to have a lot of people living here, we're going to have to do something about that. And I think this is, like I said, it's somewhere down. I can push this button and it makes that thing put out a paper map if you want.
Gerg.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
All right.
I
So
shake my head yes very vigorously.
Okay. So he prints you up a paper map. It's very, very, very faint. It's 200-year-old ink, you know. Okay, like at one point it stops printing. He pushes a button, spits on the print head, so it starts drawing legible lines on the map again. And at that point, you've got a pretty good map of the lowermost level where the magnetic shunt needs to be deplenilated at. So, I wish I could be more help, but
Well, I guess we're gonna have to go down there and see how we can deplantaginate that stuff, whatever it is.
I hope this isn't another spine-throwing plant again.
well, it wasn't gonna be, but now that you bring it up,
Well, I guess we need to. Do we have any tools we can take with us? We don't even know what we're doing, do we?
I think we know what we're doing. It's not going to be good, but we're doing it.
I'm definitely taking the power armor this time.
And then your new characters see the sudden flash and glow on the horizon, and they think, "What happened over there?" Okay. So following the map, you know that you have to use there is a long flight of stairs, or you can use one of the lifting and lowering boxes that are driven by the power systems.
How far down is this?
You and he have no idea. It's level 5. Is what it says on presumably.
Okay.
Gerg's going to ride on Rex's shoulder, so either way, he's not going to have to walk far.
I think we should take the lifting box, fellas. The ancients haven't led us wrong so far.
Well, I'm sure willing to take the waiter, and it surely will be dumb once I get in it.
No.
All right. So you enter the elevator, and just as Rex is, for emphasis, repeating his statement about the ancients have never failed you, the lights dim and the moving box comes to a stop.
Of course.
Is there any communication device in the dumbwaiter?
There's
just buttons.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I have no idea what that does.
Okay. Well, look up and down and all around and see what's in here. Is there a hatch? Can we try to pry the door open?
You can do any of those things. You don't immediately see something that says hatch. There's just a very fine metallic grid above you. Light was pouring from it when you stepped in a minute ago, but now it's pitch black. Barongo has night vision goggles, right?
Yeah, well, I can see EF just naturally. I have ultra vision.
Oh, nice.
All right. And Rex, your suit sensors, allow you to see. So it's just Gerg that can't. But you don't see something that says, this way to comedically exit the elevator. But as far as prying the door open, you can certainly attempt.
Okay.
Um,
Well, let's try to open the door first and see what we see.
okay. So yeah, I guess Rex will try to stick his steely fingers in there and pry that thing open.
Are you trying to get me demonetized, Yang?
Well, you know.
Okay. Well, with your suit's power assist, it takes some prying at the door, but you're able to get your fingers in there, and it does open a little bit, and you can just see steel and concrete in front of you.
Guys, there's no way out here. Do I see any like markings on the wall? Does it? If I kind of like look up and look down.
No, you don't.
All right. Is there a hatch on the top?
If there is, it's going to be behind whatever that grid above you is, because you don't see something.
Gurg will climb on top of Rex's helmet and try to reach the grid and see if he can't make it come.
Okay. There's a couple of long glass tubes, and then there's a dark space above those. But you can't see what's beyond it. Again, being as it's very dark.
Okay, I'll transmit that thought to Rex and Morongo. Let them know that there's some possible hatch behind these panels.
Well, if we wait, it's been going on and off. Maybe it'll come back on. This might be that critical piece, though, that he kept talking about. Can we figure out what to do? So the cylinders are in the way?
Yes, they are lying on their sides. They seem to be held on either end by metal cylinders. There is a little bit of a gap between them, and you can see what might be a hatch.
Well, maybe
above that.
Maybe see if those cylinders come out. I avert my eyes.
Okay.
Well, you want Gurg to try to get him out, or?
Well, can I reach it? Because I'll do it if I can reach it.
I'm
short, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's like a good 2.5 meters just to the bottom of the grid, not to consider the light fixtures or what might be on it. So
okay, yeah, I'm 107 centimeters tall, so
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you could try to move them, I don't know, or if you could get around them.
They're gonna try to get that grid pulled down or opened or something.
Okay. Gurg does what I did at least a couple of times when I was working construction, and grabs a ballast and then grounds himself against something metal. Yeah, exactly. In fact, well,
wow,
Rex,
you're all puffy.
Yeah, Rex, you're like everything inside you just kind of hear this electromagnetic whoomp inside your suit, and like all the screens kind of blur and then get straight again, and so on. Gurg takes 5 points of damage.
That's a bad idea.
Do you guys hear EDM?
And it smells a little bit like barbecued raccoon in the elevator now. However, after this hilarious turn of events, the lights do come back on, and the platform, just based on what you feel in your stomachs, continues to lower.
You fixed it.
Erg.
Good on you. Sorry that kind of hurt. So you just need to tighten that cylinder thing.
Had to give it a tap.
Okay. So a good 5 minutes roll by. And I should point out that during this entire ride, some music of the ancients has been playing, but it sounds so unpleasant. Yet at the same time, it sounds like it's designed to be pleasant. You can't put your finger on it.
It's the eye of the tiger. It's the king of the fight. Rising up to okay.
As a more the Muzak version of the girl from Ipanema, but you know.
Oh no.
Derg, I think you did something wrong.
And vibraphone even.
You know, if you touch that cylinder again, maybe the music will stop.
All right. The traveling box of the ancients grinds to a halt once more with all the lights going out.
Well, maybe the door's going somewhere now. Does the door open? Or
it does not. It does not open. You're in the dark again.
It's pitch
All right,
black.
guys.
And it's pitch black again.
Yeah,
Rex will try to pry that thing open.
Okay, this time you can slide it open with ease. Looking, you have a much clearer view. There's like an X-shaped metal cross in front of you, a stone wall beyond that, and some metal piping fixed to the stone wall. You're not sure what it is, but there are no immediately visible doors.
Is there enough space between the box and the pipes for somebody to step out and be in front of the box?
No, if Gerg, like Matt, pressed himself flat, he could maybe scoot up there.
Yeah,
Which I'm not like trying to suggest that to you guys. I'm just saying that's how little space there is.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Let's not do that.
Stuff the raccoon up there.
That's my first answer.
The cylinders are, again, guys.
Gerg shakes his head.
I mean, maybe if we jump, it'll get unstuck.
Ah, that's a good idea.
All right, and does that include Rex in his power armor?
I'll let them try it first and see if that works.
Okay, we'll jump
a little bit of a
up and down a couple times.
Tiny, faint squeak and swaying, but nothing changes.
When we saw the maps, was the fifth the bottom?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, but we have it. Were there any lights? Did we see lights go on, giving numbers, or I mean, we're just watching the display.
That is correct. You were just watching the display.
Well, it looks like we're not heavy enough to do this. Yeah.
All right, guys.
I can. Does it look like Rex would fit through the hatch with his armor on?
You don't know. You haven't gone all the way up there.
Does it look like there's a way that Rex could get up there?
Currently, no.
He did fit. Yeah. Okay.
Could I open it like a tin can?
Yeah, you can certainly try and do that.
We won't be getting back up this way. Of course, we should have taken the stairs.
I did give them, everybody in the audience, did I give them the option? I did.
It was heavily implied we have the ancients' favor, though. Well, all
I'm
right,
just doing
guys.
this because being early would cause trouble, so we're gonna be just on time.
Well, guys, I mean, I could fly back up. I could certainly get Gerg back up, and then we could lower a rope down. How far down do we go? Would you estimate?
You have no idea.
So
You have no idea. You've been between the first start down and the second start down, not counting the power outages, you were traveling for like 11 minutes, and that's a long time in an elevator.
That's a lot of rope.
yeah, you could fly.
Well, of course.
I did not know that.
Gerg will think out to them. There's always the greasy vines at the top of the thing that could be climbed.
So
I start jumping up and down again. It's like any choice is better than what we've got right now.
So Rex is going to shrug his shoulders, and he'll put his hands over Gerg so Gerg doesn't hit the ceiling, but he'll try to jump up and down as well.
Rex jumps up. All the lights come on. You slam on the floor, and the thing begins to fly straight down. Yeah, it is literally in free fall.
Is there an emergency brake button?
I'm gonna try to jump and jump and jump and hope that I jump at the end. Clean up on aisle 6.
So, you know what they say? It's not the fall that gets you; it's that sudden stop at the end.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I was not going to do anything terrible. I said, I'm going to roll percentage chance. What are the odds? And well, apparently they're 1-1.
100%.
So this thing, there's an earth-shattering kaboom. Rex, your suit's inertial dampers will soak up half of this.
Okay, all right.
James, give me a D20 roll for Gerg.
Oh boy. D20. 16.
Okay, you managed to grab onto to Rex's suit, and you're only slammed around for half of this. Barongo, you're going to take the full effects. Unfortunate. Well, you know what? No, roll a D20 because you were jumping up and down.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid the consequence. 17. 4 and a 7.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, you were in the air when it hit, so you take the 19 points of damage. That's 8 to Rex, or 9 to Rex, and 9 to Gerg.
Okay, all right.
And out of the speaker somewhere hidden above you.
Did the doors open?
You hear a ding.
Ding, fries are done. Yeah.
It actually, when it hit, it actually kind of bounced back up. The doors are slightly ajar, and you can see doors on the other side at about half the height of the elevator. So you'll have to open those, and if you want to exit that way, crawl out.
So it's stuck up, Like
Yeah.
half the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we fit through? If the door's open? Or does he have to jump again?
So Gurg can absolutely, Gurg can saunter through like he owns it. Barongo, you can crawl through with no problem. Rex,
Yes.
you can get out of your power armor and shimmy out like Barongo does, or you can wait in the elevator. Which are you gonna do?
Can I try to pry a larger opening?
Well, here's a question: did that grid come out of the ceiling and bust those tubes out?
Oh yeah, there's little fragments of glass everywhere. And the grids are kind of hanging down. So they're obviously hinged and sort of swinging.
Maybe check the roof now and see if there's a hatch there that you could pry open, rip open, whatever.
There is an opening. There is an opening.
All right, I will try to get out that way.
Okay. Yeah, you give a mighty yank and the hatch swings out and clangs open. If you go up, there is a thick layer of dust. There is just a collection of random junk of the ancients lying on top of this thing. A ballpoint pen, somebody's ID card, the crap that usually accumulates in an elevator shaft, a comb. Nothing really useful though.
Rex is going to take that comb.
All right, so you've got that hatch open, and you're able to get out on top of the elevator, and you have an opening about the same size as the one in the elevator. The elevator is kind of skewed slightly. It's jammed, so apparently when it hit the bottom, it bounced back up and sort of went slightly askew and stuck.
At this point, I'm going to get out and step back.
Okay.
So Rex is getting a little frustrated. He would like to maybe channel the jocks of the ancient and try to crush the elevator to make an opening like one of the ancient sports gods would crush a beer can on its head.
All right. Give me you know what, we'll do this old school style with a little bend bars lift gates action with a definite bonus for your powered armor. All right, so you're able to tear a hole in the in the opening there and get out. This elevator will never move again.
Guys, these were clearly evil ancients.
Let's just not say anything about this to the others.
We'll just say we took the stairs.
Right. Yeah, we heard a loud bang, and then we went and looked, and this is what was there. Yeah.
The party trying the "it was like that when we got here" approach.
Well, did you have pictures beforehand?
We don't know what happened, your lordship. The keep on the Borderlands was on fire when we got there. All the citizens were dead. All right.
Are there any lights down here at this moment, or is it dark, or is it?
It is dark. It is dark, however, along the ceiling periodically. This elevator is in the middle of the hall. There are red lights fixed along the wall in either direction. Your map seems to indicate that you should go to the left.
I'm a little more mistrustful of the ancient skies, but things
Well, there's
written
definitely
down do
nothing.
not lie.
There's nothing left for us here, so we might as well go over there.
Yerg.
So I should point out that it is very clean here. There's not that much crap. I mean, there's a lot of dust and detritus directly in front of the elevator for obvious reasons. But generally speaking, this is pretty clean down here. So either somebody got down here with a broom periodically between the great conflagration and now, or it stayed sealed until you guys showed up. There are some pieces of ancient machinery on carts here and again. You come to an intersection that you can't quite see beyond. There is a pillar in the middle of the intersection that is covered in machinery and screens with keyboards under. Your map indicates you are to go left at that pillar.
Are there any markings on the pillar itself?
Yes, the top of the pillar is bare metal, or rather it is blank. It does not have gauges and buttons and switches on it and etc. And it has a stylized number 5 with a white circle around it.
This might be level 5, guys.
Do any of those monitors or anything have any power to them at the moment?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
Can we look for a power switch?
You certainly can. However, as you're examining the pillar, you are all very surprised. A metallic voice to your left says, "Intruder alert! Intruders detected on level 5, engaging with lethal force." So you are all surprised as this robotic unit hoves into view.
We need that badge.
Well, we did pick up that stack of
I got
badges.
the comb.
Yeah, we picked up that stack of badges in the where the Orlin was
That's right. Yeah.
killed. And Gurgle hand that to Rex as quickly as possible. It was like a wallet or something. I think he'd found.
All right. Rex Dashington, putting on his best authoritative voice, will say, "Halt, robot! We are not intruders."
Okay. The robotic unit, ignoring your admonition to halt, raises a weapons turret and is firing at you.
Oh, crap.
Let's see here. All right. Yeah, that's a can't miss at this range. So how much you've got your force field on your armor that's going to absorb some damage.
25.
25 points. Okay.
per round. Yeah.
Let's see here. So it just sort of plays an energy beam back and forth across you. You're going to take some damage from this too.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Or you might take. I'm sorry. You might take some damage from this too. I should say. There is. Where you go? Actually, it doesn't wash back and forth. It just zaps you directly. Oh, that is weak. 8,
Yay.
18, 21. So 28.
Oof. All right. So does that mean, is that 28 after the 25, or I take 3?
You take 3.
Take 3. Okay. All right. All right.
So yeah, you feel a burning situation. It has just like absolutely has the drop on you. So it will be employing the other one and fires a micro missile at Gurg.
Yeah.
Oh.
However, apparently it doesn't track well at close range and goes careening down the hall, and you hear a slam bang behind you.
Phew.
This is why we can't have nice things.
And it will now lean forward with its with a very wicked looking saw blade and slice at Barongo.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just kind of digs into the wall, and there's a gout of sparks. You know, if maybe it's malfunctioning or what. But it's got these just blinding, like you can feel the heat from the spotlights mounted on its shoulders. It does not seem to heed what Rex has told it to do at all. So now that your round of surprise is over, what is Gurg doing?
Gerg's going to be getting his laser rifle out, but he's also going to use light generation to try to stun this thing a little.
Okay, Barongo.
Yeah, since my rifle isn't worth a damn, I'm going to take my short sword and I'm going to attempt to hack at it.
Clink.
Yeah,
Clink.
pretty much.
Okay, and Rex.
Didn't we pick up grenades somewhere?
We did.
We did?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have. We had 2 different types.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, you know what? I'm afraid if I use them now, the soft skins would take some damage too. So I'm going to see if I can dive behind a console and shoot it with my laser rifle.
Okay, so you're going to try and dip behind the console
Or the-
pillar in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever I can do to get a little cover.
Okay, James, roll initiative then. I know what the bot's going to do.
Let me get my dice roller up here. RD6. 4.
All right, party goes first.
Flash.
I'm sorry, what?
Flash with the light generation.
Oh, flash with the light generation. It doesn't seem to be affected by it.
I didn't think it would. Okay. Start pedaling backwards, trying to get behind the pillar as well.
All righty.
All right. I got 17.
That will hit.
Okay. That is 18 damage.
Okay. You shoot it, and this sort of bluish halo around it flickers. It's kind of like what your shield looks like when it takes damage.
Ah, crap.
Barongo.
All right, I'm gonna swing at it, and whether I hit or not, I'm gonna pretend I'm a lawyer avoiding somebody outside of a courtroom where we lost the case and use a pillar as a block.
Okay.
Doesn't look good. Yeah, I got a 4. So
Yeah. Clank.
yeah, swing and a miss. Yeah, so I'm gonna dodge as much as I can back and forth behind that pillar.
All right. If only you had a satellite orbital laser, then you could better call Saul. I'm not very proud of that, but on the other hand, I am very, very proud of that.
Ouch.
Okay. Next shot at it, please. Somebody, anybody.
I think that was it. Wasn't it?
Oh, that was it. Okay, my turn.
That's all.
All right.
Can we stall?
Can you start? No.
Damn.
All right. It shoots at Rex. Let me see here. This thing. This thing has a lot of hit dice, but that is an edge case. So I don't want to be. I don't want to be too cruel when I don't have to.
Uh-huh.
And our guest DM is Jim Ward.
Oh Lord. You're all dead from radiation poisoning. You're all mutated. It's my best Jim Ward impression. I'm not making fun. That's like the best I can do. All right. Doesn't really get to, you know what? Okay, so yeah, you I'm gonna say that will actually miss. That was at Rex. This is at Gerg, another micro missile. That hits. Let's see. All right, how badly hurt is
He's got 31 hit points at this point.
Oh boy.
okay.
Had
You had 31 hit points. Let's see. Oh, this is just
It's only 31. It's fine.
it's only 30.
30 and a half. It was a leaner.
Wow, you guys are really lucky. Everybody takes 13 points of damage.
Oh, boy. Share the wealth.
Yeah, that missile was very dud.
Is that 13 after the...
No, that's 13. That's 13 total.
Okay, so my shield negates that.
Your shield now. Let me see here.
I think it's...
This is offensive armor, infrared sensors. It just says hit points. So yeah, you actually 20 hit points per melee turn. So yeah, shrapnel pings off of you. This thing is most assuredly a hostile baddie. And finally, it swings its saw blade arm at Barongo. Barongo, the thing slashes you for 13 more points of damage.
Yipe. I'm still alive, but not by much. Took half my hit points.
Intruders must be destroyed. All right. Now, in the new round, what do you guys wish to do?
Yeah. Okay. How much space do I need to not murder us all with a grenade?
More than you have here. More than you have here.
Didn't we have EMP grenades or something like that? There was 2 types, right?
Yeah,
Were they
there
both
was a
explosion type grenades?
One was a torque, and I think the other was frag grenade.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that would definitely toast our buns.
Your buns would cease to exist.
We can't happen to see like an off switch, can we?
On the robot? No, you don't.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's not like a big knife blade switch on him. He was not designed by Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
None of the panels are lit up now, are they, on this column?
No, they are not. In fact, many are peppered with shrapnel.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll take a blast with my rifle.
All right, and
me too.
Barongo?
I'm gonna run. I don't know where to. Maybe back into the elevator.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and roll initiative then, Kevin, for the side?
Okay. Absolutely. Ooh. Let's see what we got here. 6. Yeah. Don't have me roll initiative. It's a 1.
Oh.
Okay. You turn and start running, and the robot focuses its attention on your companions. Saw blade snaps back in place. It will fire an electron discharger at Gurg.
Ooh.
And let's see. Gurg. What's Gurg's armor class again?
I think it's still 7. Yeah.
Okay. 7. That may have actually missed you. Let's see. Yeah, no, that actually misses you. Your fur does stand up as there's this crackling blue bolt that just kind of scars the floor. Then there's a smell of ozone. Rex is not so lucky. Rex is shot. $10, 27. 27.
Yikes.
So that's 7 more points of damage to Rex.
Okay.
Your suit chimes in. Major laceration detected. Little joke for the Half-Life fans there. You guys may retaliate.
Ooh, a 20.
No, that'll hit. Most assuredly.
I was working in that. 66.
66 or 6.
19 points of damage.
Okay, yeah, the blue shimmering light it just sort of splashes rainbow colors all over, but the light's still up. Rex, take a shot.
18.
That will hit.
$25.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You cause many pieces to slag down, and it's gleaming duralloy chassis melts and warps as your beam strikes it. Circuits pop, capacitors rupture, but it's still operational. Next round.
Die, robot, die.
Yes.
James, roll initiative. Roll well.
It gave up on me a 1.
Oh, no.
All right. And again, it misses Gerg.
Yay.
And it misses Rex.
Yay.
This is like
Yes.
point blank range, and it's firing energy weapons at you guys and missing. All right, counterattacks.
5.
Not sufficient.
15.
Sufficient.
$13.
Yeah, it just kind of splashes against its energy shield.
Mm.
All right. So Barongo gets to the elevator, leaving a trail of blood the whole way. You see hallway continuing on down. Again, carts with the machinery on it and everything, and then there's the elevator. What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna use one of my med pack charges.
All right. Yang, go ahead and roll initiative, please.
All right. 3.
It will take a shot at you, and it hits.
Ooh.
Oof.
Let's see, it's 10, 15, 23. Oof, not good for you. 23, 28, 34.
Okay, so I take 14.
Okay. You hear a pop and a hiss, and your suit, like you've got lights sort of dimming in your suit, and that calming voice says, medical aid is being administered. Please remain still. All right. You guys take your shots.
Got a 12 this time.
That will hit. You guys are like duking it out with this thing from literally like 2 meters.
17 damage.
Okay. Shields kind of flicker, but hold.
15 again.
That will hit, obviously.
$20.
Let's see. So I'm sorry. How much did Gerg do? 13?
Was it 17? I thought.
17.
Yeah.
17. Okay.
Yeah.
So 37 total.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of this thing's manipulators just kind of welds to itself, and a bunch of lenses are burnt out, and one of the spotlights is completely shot. It's not looking real good, but it's still functioning. Just repeating over and over again. Intruder alert! Get the humanoids! The humanoids must not escape! James, roll initiative.
4.
It will go first.
Oh.
Uh,
It misses Gerg.
Yay.
It hits Rex.
Boo.
Oh.
Uh, 24 total. So only 4 got through you there.
Oh my god. 24. Okay. Oh, all right. Whew.
With the computer equivalent of a deep sigh of frustration, the Medipack continues to work on you. Now with you having more damage.
I'm looking for a weapon. Looking at the walls, looking at the floor. She said it was clean in here, but I'm looking for anything better than the sword.
Well, let's see.
I mean, even anything is better than this.
Well, hey, hang on a half a tick here. Let me see, because there are so many things on carts around here. You're bound to find something.
Okay.
But
I'm going
let's
to
see.
grab the first thing that looks promising.
Barongo races around the corner, swinging a stethoscope over his head.
Sling stones.
A stethoscope with D batteries is sling stones. Clank, clank, clank. All right, let's see. What does Barongo find? All right. So lying on a cart, there is a rifle that seems to be in some kind of condition. It's in a condition, and it is a good one. Seems to be in pretty good condition.
I'm gonna grab that and see if I can figure out how to shoot at the robot.
All right.
Obviously, probably next round, because
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys, what are you doing?
We're firing back at him, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, take your shots.
13.
Oh, that will hit.
Got 22 points. I did 2 whole points to him this time.
Okay. Yeah, you blast off a couple of chunks of armor. Its shield is completely down for the moment.
I got 17.
That will hit.
Uh, 26.
Okay, you just lean on that firing stud on your weapon and just sort of hose it with energy, and it something inside splits asunder, and it's spewing foul smelling bluish orange flames, and it just kind of wheels like it's trying to make a 180, but only makes it about 90 degrees and slams into the wall so hard you feel the floor shudder under your feet. Above it, you hear a click and a whir, and there's some sort of round, just metallic bulge out of the ceiling that is spewing some thick, damp yellow substance on it, and the smoke and the flames are being smothered by that. Barongo, you have an elongate weapon that has a couple of cylinders, like its rear part is like 2 cylinders with tapered ends stacked together. And then it's got what appears to be a standard rifle grip and a tapered point at the end. Do you wish to try and figure out how to use it?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot it at the robot, even though it's not moving.
All right. Give me a D10.
All right.
Or, yeah, a D10.
9.
It does not change in function, which is to say it does not fire.
All right, 4.
Okay, you get a satisfying click, and a light starts winking blue on a round glass part mounted on top. Roll again.
Another 4.
It goes from blue to red.
I got yet another 4. 3 in a row.
Winks out but comes back on red.
5.
Does it again.
Well, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
7.
Does it again.
I think this is all this does, guys. 4.
Does it again.
This, yeah. 8.
There's kind of this. It doesn't do that again. There's a yellow light now flashing on the little glass part, sort of winking on and off rapidly, and a sort of slowly building hum is coming from within it.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to start acting faster.
Okay.
Oh, well, it may not matter. 9.
Okay, the slowly rising hum has gotten louder.
8.
Okay.
Dice goes back in bag.
So roll new characters.
Something in it arcs, and you take 5 points of burn damage.
Ouch.
Oof.
And all the lights are now off. Nothing's charred except you.
Okay.
It seems to be completely fine, but you clearly angered the spirits of the ancients.
Yeah, maybe I need to do this in a field or something.
Gurgle,
just
take a look at the robot. Is it moving or offering any kind
It's
of...
under a pile of yellow foam.
Okay,
It's not doing anything except smoking.
He's going to approach it slowly and kind of kick it a little, see if it does anything.
Uh,
kind of the old horror story type thing, you know.
yeah, exactly. Let's see. No, it does not. It does not move.
Okay.
All right, so that is the direction you are to go, where it came from.
Okay. Is there any useful pieces on this thing that we could scavenge?
Well, I will say this: even with the foam, like you can feel the heat radiating off of it. So,
would I detect any radiation?
yes, there is some mild radiation coming from it. Not much more than standing next to a fusion rifle when it fires, but a little bit, slightly above background.
Guys, I am getting a little sense of radiation here.
Gerd backs away.
Yeah, I could see it. I'm going to back. We'll walk around it as far as we can.
Oh, sure. Yeah. The hallway is wide enough that you can give this thing a wide berth. And really the radiation is only its strongest where the foam has dripped off or did not get sprayed on it. So you suspect that whatever that foam is, it might actually dampen radiation somewhat.
Okay.
All right. So your map indicates you to go down a little bit. Oh, who has the map?
Don't know.
Did you guys bring the map?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. I will open the glove compartment to my suit and pull out the map.
All right, let's see. All right, you had the map. You've taken some damage. You open the inner pocket, and the map is scorched and seared beyond legibility.
Well, that's what
Can't-
happens when you let Tesla make a suit.
Let's see. What are we gonna do here?
Gerg's pulling out one of his med packs and strapping it on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can
I'm gonna
we-
need to do that as well.
I just did that, so I'm good. But do we remember at all what we saw when the guy was showing us and printing the maps, or is it just?
Each of you roll a d10.
Yeah, I got a 1.
10.
5.
I got a 2.
All of you remember that it's this way down, and then there's kind of like a vault type room that's on the right, you think. But as this comes to mind, you're like, right, okay, straight ahead and to the right. All the red lights click over to yellow. You can see a bit by them. And a couple of the glass panels that aren't destroyed on the pillar flicker to life. There is a 20, 2 zeros, and on the far end of that, numbers that are flickering so fast you can't see what they say. And almost immediately the 20 turns to 19, 59,
Guys,
and
this doesn't look
flickering
good.
numbers. You hear a sliding grating sound followed by a series of booms, and a metallic voice calls out, "Reactor thermal shunt failing. Stabilize reactor or evacuate premises immediately. Reactor area sealed for safety purposes. This message repeats." And it says that again.
Can we look for a fix the shunt switch?
Well, you're in the middle of the hallway. You don't see one. There's nothing on the pillar marked "fix the shunt." So, but you do, like I said, you all remembered that down the hall to the right will take you in the direction you need to go.
Guys, we got to book it.
Gerg. He jumps up on Rex's suit.
And
A
Rex
tank
will
commander just sort of
take off running.
clanks on the hatch and points.
Master Blaster. Yeah. Yeah, I'll follow.
All right, so you begin bucking down the hallway. There's you pass a few doors that like one of them, as you're coming to it, just sort of slides shut, and a green light on it switches to red, and there's a loud clanging sound. In front of you to the right, kind of angles slightly, you can see what looks like a large metal iris slowly drawing shut. Rotating red lights, repetitive clacks, and Matt. You think that's where you have to be.
Gerg has flashbacks of Bubbles.
Does it look like I have enough time to run through there?
Well, yeah, if you guys are running, you don't stop and delay.
No, we'll just run through there. That's where we think we got to go.
Okay. Each of you, give me a D percentile roll. Do not roll a 1 or a 100.
I got a 70.
You're fine.
56.
Okay.
47.
All right. Gerg is not clipped when he. Gerg, clank. Gerg, you up there, buddy? We're through the door. All right. You make it through in time, and the metal leaves of the door boom shut. And the voice is repeating that periodically.
Start looking around for something to fix.
Okay. The room you're in is all of white colored metal. There's actually functional lights on in here, not just the yellow ones. There's actually deep pits in the middle of the room with rails around them. And Gerg, you have the strong smell of water in here. But each of you, we'll start with Gerg. Give me a D10 roll, buddy.
5.
5. Okay. Gerg finds a panel. You pull it out. There's a keyboard, and there on the screen is the same graph that was showing up in ops, except all of the little red bars are almost completely at the bottom bar on the screen. And in the middle of it, it says critical. So you're able to flip that out and try something. Do either one of the Barongo or Rex want to try anything?
I'm not good at this at all, right? I have a disability, so it's probably a bad idea for me to mess with it.
Okay.
I got
Rex?
+2 on my rolls, so just letting you know.
It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
How about Rex?
I will look for like any emergency shut-off switch or.
Okay.
I can look and see if there's radiation, or I have ultravision, so if that helps at all, I could tell somebody where it's leaking or whatever. But
it's not coming up into the room, but the bottom of the pools, you don't even need your vision for that. The bottom of the pools are glowing blue.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a roll for Rex then.
5.
You find a panel identical to the one that Gerg is working on. There are several of the glass panels lit up, and they are now showing 1730. James, give me another roll for Gerg.
You want me to do my 2d10, or do you want me to just stick with 1?
No, do 2.
Okay. These rolls are at -1 for his dual.
Okay.
So I got a 5 and a 2.
Okay. Gerg, you get to you navigate through a series of menus, and you are now looking at a page that is labeled at the top with the glowing text, Emergency Power Management and Safety. You think you're on the right track.
Gerg.
Give me a roll for Rex.
6.
Okay. Yeah, there's something about water level control now on your screen, and it says nominal.
Okay, this time I get a 5 and a 1.
Okay, you navigate through menus, doesn't change anything, and then you get over to a screen that is very, very clearly labeled Magnetic Shunt Management. Do not tamper unless fully authorized and trained.
Gerg. Trying to get their attention.
All right, you want to give me a roll for Rex there?
1.
Okay, that's your second one, right?
I got a 6 last time, and then this is 1. The first one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you open a page that is labeled Power Management Main. James.
Oh, okay. I guess effectively a 0, but I got a 1 and a 7.
Okay. You click on, you cursor up, enter. But it blinks away, and you're now on something that's it says magnetic power shunt status, and there's just gobbledygook on the screen. Nothing is changing. The countdown is now down to 11 and 26.
Okay. Rex, you going to roll again, or?
Yeah. 3.
Okay. You are on a page that is now labeled emergency power management. James?
Ew. A 9 and a 2.
Okay. You completely lose whatever menu page you're on, but you get back to something that is labeled power maintenance subsystem menus.
Okay.
Uh, 0, which I base would be 10.
That is correct. Yes. So let's see, a 10. You are thrown over to a page that reads, basically you're on the README for the power management page.
Oh, okay.
Greetings, systems operator. Operation of this tokamak reductive power reactor model 101 should not be undertaken without the following important steps being observed. Click page down. It's like a Microsoft EULA here.
Nice.
All right, Gerg.
2 and an 8.
All right, so a 2. That gets you to emergency shunt management, but you must have miskeyed something because you're now at another useless informatical page.
He slams his little fists on the counter going,
Okay, you are at 852.
Rex got a 6.
Let's see. Yeah, you're just paging down, trying to get to the bottom where the EULA is at.
I guess I'm gonna be cheerleading Dale Arden style. I guess, hoping that this
Flash.
Exactly. Go Flash, go.
Doop.
Exactly.
I got a 9 and a 7 on this roll.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
We could have done this quicker if I had done it.
Okay. You're back. You are thrown back to one of the earlier power management pages. 7 minutes even.
Go, Dash, go.
3.
A 3. Okay. You are at the critical cooling subsystems management page.
Yeah, I got a 7 and a 1.
All right. A 7. Nothing happens, but then you get back to the emergency shunt management page. Tune in and watch the gripping navigating of the GUIs. You folks won't want to miss this. This is hardcore role-playing game action, folks.
I got a 1.
Yay!
Yay! All right. You finally get to. I agree. I accept. Click.
Damn Damn you, Olays!
And you're back at you are back to the power management general page. Gerg,
I got a 1 and a 9.
well, the one actually, you key in the right commands, and you're looking at a little illuminated white box that says magnetic shunt reset. Are you sure?
Gerg.
If you don't want the reactor to overheat, click no. If you do want the reactor to overheat, click yes. You guys think I'm kidding, but there's like whole web pages dedicated to bad UI design that are full of things like that. Click yes, I want the system to shut down, or no, I don't want the system to shut down. Okay, so there's a hum, and this is Barongo. You kind of look at the pools. They get noticeably warmer. It gets a little bit steamy in here. Little bit more radiation, nothing that seeps out, but after a few minutes, all the power is on. There's a steady hum coming from the from all the equipment. All of the monitors have turned back to nominal. The dreadful countdown has stopped, and the voiceover, the last thing it says before it goes silent is, "Dr. Freeman, please report topside for debriefing."
You have saved Earth.
Creatures.
Great work, little buddy.
Gerg.
Quite a nasty piece of work back there, Dr. Freeman. Okay. So you hear the sounds of the metal shield doors for various systems opening back up, and now you just have a 2-hour climb back up a flight of stairs.
Gerg climbs back up on Rex's shoulders.
Well, I'll leave it to you guys if you decide that you want to explore the reactor area, the lower level here that apparently they had never come to before.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely not a place that you had explored before. So, being as we are a little bit short this evening, I think we're going to go ahead and call it half an hour short, if that's okay with you, adventurers.
That'll work.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we will be back here next Friday night. I want to thank the whole audience for being here. Thank you all for listening to and enjoying this post-apocalyptic robot radio drama. Thank you, of course, to James and Kevin and Yang for being here. Thank you to the audience for sitting in and listening. And a whole nother week of fun and adventures. I'll see you guys Monday morning when we're going to dive deeper into the vault of the Drow. That's Drow, not Dro. Don't say Dro to me. And then Tuesday night, of course, James will be here for some AD&D, I know.
Yep.
And that's going to be lots of fun. Don't know if Kyle will be there on Tuesday or Wednesday, but our co-host Kyle will be back. Thursday, Steve Marsh of TSR fame will be here. And then Friday, we'll get back to the wasteland, the fighting of robots, the fixing of reactors, and the saving of what is left of Gamma World. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight. Thank you for our audience participants. And I will speak to everyone later.